like that we're kind of matching.
We've done it again.
Some
Kind of opposite.
Opposites.
I've realised that I haven't got shoes on, so I've got to be very
Very
aware
aware
of
of what you do with your feet.
my foot modelling career. Now, I can't see the computer, so
Yeah, I
if
can.
I'm on camera duty, you're on recording duty.
Yeah, I'm happy to take that.
Okay.
I'm happy to stuff up that job.
I hope
for
so,
us.
particularly if it fails now and then we don't notice for 53 minutes.
Yeah.
We're back.
That's
Do you remember what to do?
not really.
Okay. I guess there's an intro bit.
Yeah.
Does that happen now?
Yeah, let's
Okay.
do it.
And I think of some
You think of something
stupid way.
stupid to
No,
say.
it's 2025. You do it. You do it.
Oh, no. No, I'm not ready. I'll do it next time.
Okay.
No!
G'day, folks. We're back.
Yep.
2025, new year for the pod. We turn 1 later this year.
Amazing. I'm so excited
I got
for
no
our
idea on the
first
date.
birthday. No, I'll have to do some
Easy to find
looking
out.
back through the archives.
Just to when episode 1
Yeah.
released. Pretty easy.
Yeah.
And that's only, 16, 17 episodes? Something like that? What are we up to?
I don't know. Season 3 or
Don't know. It's episode something.
it's episode something.
But it's the new year, 2025. Happy New Year to everybody. Now, my name's Matt, by the way. So if you're listening for the very first time, thank you so much. We're a podcast called Skip the Beat. We're loosely based on music, and we're both musicians. We've both played music together and separately for a lot of our lives. We're both really good friends. And who I'm talking about is the other half of the podcast. Katie, how you doing?
I'm doing very well. I'll just have to confess that just before that intro, Matt did try and spring it on me that I should start doing the intros for 2025. So, and I think we did talk about that in the last pod at the end of last year, that I was going to step up. And I had a complete anxiety attack on the spot and said, I'm not ready, you do it. So next week we might get an intro from me. But that's my really long way of saying I'm really well.
Next
It's
week.
good to be here.
We're back to weekly, are we?
We're a weekly podcast
Okay,
that's
cool.
loosely based on music.
Now, it's been, we snuck in a little episode just before the end of last year. Mm-hmm. Haven't seen you since last year. Haven't seen you all year. Yuck. All of those jokes. But there's been Christmas, there's been New Year. We're going to get to it on the whiteboard about how everything's been. But you wanted to ask at the start, because I'm always a bit funny about them.
Yeah,
do you have a few New Year's resolutions?
Yeah, you looked at me a little bit like I'd stepped in crap when I suggested this as an idea for the whiteboard. I thought, New Year, 2025, maybe we should share some of our, I called them New Year's resolutions, but maybe some goals, some plans, some hopes, some dreams that you have for the year. Do you want me to say a few of mine first?
I reckon you go first. Lead the way.
I reckon that my biggest goal for the year is the same as it was when we started recording this podcast, and I've had zero success so far at moving the marker at all. Biggest goal for this year is to get something happening with my one-woman show. And if I say it enough times on this podcast, maybe something will happen and I'll actually get off my ass and do something about it. So first step is I have to start playing my flute every week. That's my first goal for the year.
You looked at it last year. Now you've got to touch it.
I've touched it. I think I touched it last year as well. I'm not sure. But yeah, I've got to blow that guy this year. Oh no, don't. That's going to get cut.
It's not.
I have to put some wind through her this year.
So it's changed genders just in the last 15 seconds. Okay, cool. Yep.
Because that's gross.
Okay.
I am going to play my flute this year. I'm going to get into some sick beatboxing on my flute. And I really hope that maybe on one of the pods I'll be able to
give us a little demonstration. I've seen it.
Beats.
It is brilliant.
So I've got a long way to go to get back to where I was probably 4 years ago when we wrote the show.
Do you need to keep practicing the certain thing you do with a hockey stick?
Yeah, there's a few other skills that have completely will completely
don't want
have
to give anything
eluded
away,
me.
but just that's a little.
There's a few skills that
Okay.
I'm going to have to upskill again.
Mm-hmm.
So I really, really hope that I do that. So that's one of my biggest goals. Another goal that I have is to, and I don't know what this looks like yet, but drink a lot less alcohol.
Okay.
Big goal for me this year.
How's it started?
Not too bad. Not too bad.
Mm-hmm.
I think, I don't know what that looks like. I just know that it doesn't add anything great to my life. What vintage are you sipping on over there? Is that a nice 2025 red?
It's a 2023 Billy Shadow.
Very
Now,
nice.
also just on that, really, really quickly, this is a great quaffable wine.
Okay.
It's just as
Okay.
if we don't do apologies, but just
Yeah.
it's definitely not quaffable unless
it's
it goes down the
quaffable,
wrong
though.
pipe. It's quaffable.
Yeah. Good.
Sounds kind of Harry Potterish.
It does.
Um,
I'm drinking filtered water actually, so I'm a bit bougie
Must be nice.
tonight with you. Yes, just fresh back from holidays, and we drink filtered water. We're on the Gold Coast because Gold Coast water is not to my taste buds' liking, and I still had a goon bag full of water left, so I'm just working
right.
my way through.
Got your way through it. Well, the Brisbane water actually tasted a little bit nasty over the last couple of weeks as well. It was
is it?
I don't know if you're on that community suburb Facebook page that we've
Yeah.
got. It was like every second post. It was just like, come on, guys. They answered it. Everyone answered it. The council got involved, or SEQ Water. But yeah, just because of the sheer amount of rain Brisbane had,
Okay.
it was, made the water taste kind of dirty, muddy, that type of stuff. So
I haven't drunk
yeah,
Brisbane water since I've been home yet because I'm still working my way through a giant goon bag of filtered
With
water.
filtered water.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So there
All
you
right.
go.
So the New Year's resolution is the one-woman show. That's the big bucket list item.
Not necessarily to perform it, but just to really get back into refining it, practicing, and then see where that leads.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
I'm riding my bike to Sydney in April, end of April, hopefully. So
Okay.
I've got a
Okay.
heck of a lot of work to do in the next 14 weeks.
And how many days are you going to do that?
Probably over nine or 10 days.
Okay.
About 1,000 kilometres.
Okay.
Yep.
100 a day.
Yeah. Yeah. See how
Okay.
we go.
That's the first
At
I've
the
heard of
moment,
that. Look at that.
At the moment, I only decided last week. At the moment, I'm riding 20K a day, so we've got a bit of work to do.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. It's a weird thing. I don't like New Year's resolutions because for 98% of them, it's ended. Like you don't continue it after January.
Do we want to tell a story of a New Year's resolution you made one time in New York with me?
Is that you from the pouch, or is this a
It's
little
not,
extra
but I
additive?
just remembered it.
Yeah,
Actually,
so
it's probably a good one.
It's
but
a great one. But yeah, you can tell it in just a second because that's part of the reason I don't make them because I'm terrible. I was thinking after you said that because obviously in the new year you're like, I'd like to do this year and this year. So if I can pick two, one kind of personal one and one for kind of like the I guess the music side of life, which is basically what I'm throwing every inch of my time into at the moment. Inch of time? Second
Yeah.
of time? Something. You get what I mean. So yeah, personally, you know me, I like stats, and you got a few screenshots of my gym sessions from last
some
year.
running
Just
stats.
not just runs, but just a gym. Like it'll be like I put the date where I go to the gym, and obviously just number it. So how many times in the year I've gone to the gym, and you know how many kilometers I've run, how many calories approximately, how many weights I did, and what that accumulative total is. So that finished obviously in 2024. I had a decent year. I think I went 104, 105 times. So just over once every 3 and a bit days on average. This year I basically just want to beat that.
Okay.
So I want to beat it in both all the stats that I do. So I think I ran 400 and something kilometers.
Yep.
I want to beat just beat that. I want to beat all the other stats in
Yep.
weights and number of times and things I do, and obviously the amount of times I go. If
Yep.
that'll make sense. So that's
Perfect.
my goal.
Yep.
For I guess fitness wise, for a music side of things, we'll get to that a little bit more when it's what's happening in music. But we made a big call to book a ridiculous size room in Brisbane for June. So basically my goal with music this year is if we can, for Brisbane, I'd love to be able to, at least for that one show, get close to capacity and walk. And ideally the goal would be, it's not really a New Year's resolution, is it? Is it basically a goal?
It's just a goal. Yeah, that's what they are for
But
me.
to be able to play some shows and walk away with not just breaking even, but actually going, oh, I've just made a little bit of money that I can take as an income.
Yep.
And I know that for the first, I don't know how many shows, it's going to pay back a lot of what I've invested in the business. But just to be able to walk away from that and go, right, it's an upward trajectory of
Yep.
No losses.
We're going somewhere.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay, I feel that
Great
took
goal.
45 minutes to kind of explain.
Great New Year's reso.
So New Year's resolution, we were there 2008, I think, into 2009. My wife,
Yes.
my beautiful wife, myself and Katie, actually, we were...
Not your wife at the time.
Not my wife at the time, but Jen and I were on my first time overseas. We were on an 8-week holiday.
Yep.
And it was really cool because you were traveling as well. Prior to that, we'd met up in London.
Yes.
And then we went our separate ways. Jen and I went and did a bunch of European cities.
Yep.
And on Boxing Day, flew from London to New York.
Yep.
And my first time in New York. I've got this right so far.
Yeah, so far. Don't tell too much about what we did because part of that trip might be my From the Pouch.
Ah, right.
Yeah. So just talk about what
Okay.
happened on New Year's Day.
Okay, so then couple of days later, it got to New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. And we went out for like a traditional American dinner.
Yeah.
And my New Year resolution was to give up two things. I wanted to give up whipped cream because I can't really have it now anyway, but that's beside the point. Back then, I used to eat that just as a main course.
Yeah.
And also chips. And
Yeah.
when I say chips for our American listeners, I think, or even anyone in the UK that's listening, not crisps, like hot chips, like when
Fries.
Fries.
Yeah.
Fries. I want to give that up.
We had a sort of a history in the years before. We would always try and give up some sort of food that we thought we ate too much.
Yes,
so,
and I was eating a lot of them. Anyway, so
Yeah.
we ordered dinner, and I ordered, I think, a burger or something like that. And they said, look, maybe it was a steak. Maybe I ordered a steak.
I can't remember.
And she said, okay, would you like, I think, roast potato, like a spud.
Like a baked potato.
Baked potato,
Yeah.
mashed potato, or fries.
Or fries.
And I just, without hesitation, went, I'll have the fries, thanks. And just within
12 hours.
was it nighttime? Give me a bit more about.
Was it? No, I thought it was lunchtime. Okay, you made it.
In my memory, it was nighttime. I've made 18
hours.
I didn't have fries. Yeah,
and
well
just
done.
folded day one.
That's why I freaking hate New Year's resolutions. 'Cause
Yeah. I've had a few of those. I've definitely had ones where I haven't even lasted a week of something I was so committed and thought, I'm going to nail that this year.
The whipped cream also, it lasted a bit longer. The whipped cream lasted till February.
Yeah,
and we were
I
at
remember.
a good friend's parents' house
Yes.
for and there was dessert and it was just a massive bowl of whipped cream and I think I said fuck it, I can't do this, and I just walked out with my bowl and scooped it out. I went, done. I've done 2 months.
Yeah, we do love sweet things, you and I. We do love a dollop of cream on any dessert.
So good chat.
Yeah.
Good chat. Okay, so that's New Year's resolution. Happy New Year. We're back. Hopefully we're going to be meeting a little bit more semi-regularly. Towards the end of last year, we got into, I think, bi-monthly. Is that, no, once every 2 months? What would that be? Is that bi-monthly is twice.
2 monthly.
Once every 2 months?
2 monthly.
Sure. Good content. Good chat. So what else has been happening?
Well, I've just back at work this week. Started back on Monday, flying to Townsville next week for my first work trip of the year. So hitting the ground running, getting on top of all the emails. Before that, just had a blissful 2.5, nearly 3 weeks at Miami on the Gold Coast. 2 weeks in the tent with my sister and then in a luxe cabin for the last 5 nights that I was there with my entire family. Same thing we do every year. Brilliant. Had stunning weather the entire time I was there. Stunning surf. The best beach conditions I remember in like my adult life. It was just so beautiful. So feel suitably floppy and relaxed and very calm and ready to hit the year.
Any major weather events? Because normally there's a weather event that happens.
No, just
nothing.
perfect weather.
Perfect weather the entire. There wasn't even an afternoon storm.
So there was weather the 3 days that my sister was there by herself. There was some weather. She did have poles falling out and things falling down, some severe wind. But from the moment I got there, no dramas. Yeah.
You're feeling refreshed. You had big family. Now, we spoke about this on the last podcast as well. You've been there ever since you were a kid, basically.
Yeah.
And then your parents' generation and your grandparents' generation.
Yeah, so we worked out this year that this was our 68th year there as a family. 68th year. So 2 years' time for the 70th. It's going to be a...
Bang.
Yeah, we're
what type of anniversary is your 70th?
Celebrate. I don't know.
Platinum? No, that's 60's diamond. Platinum. It'd be platinum anniversary, I think.
Ah, beautiful.
Yeah.
Should buy some platinum tent poles to celebrate.
There you go.
Beautiful.
Anything else?
Seems affordable.
What else has been happening?
The day I got back from holidays, I went to the tennis. I went to the Brisbane International and was very, very lucky because you book these things in advance and you have no idea what the session will be and who will be playing. And we just happened to score the quarterfinals and got to see both the number one men's and women's seed. So we saw Djokovic play, saw Djokovic get beaten by a young American guy. So it was just phenomenal to see him, probably the greatest tennis player to ever play the game, and not my favourite, but probably the greatest, just on stats. So it was just amazing to see him. And then my current favourite women's player on the tour, Arina Sabalenka, who went on to win that tournament. So we got to see her play as well. So fabulous night at the tennis.
Sounds like a white wine.
What do you mean?
Her last name.
Sabalenka.
Yeah. I'll just have a glass of that, thanks.
Cheeky white wine.
Moving on. Okay, so tennis, you've been back at work. You had a great holiday.
Yeah. So
went
how
to the tennis.
Yeah, how about you? What else has been happening?
I also went back to work this week. So
It happens.
Yeah, it happened. Everyone, I think. And I worked from home Monday, which was a nice sort of gentle breeze back into it. But yeah, back into the office yesterday. Thankfully, no traffic on that lovely Centenary Highway that seems to be clogged all the time. I was able to have a
What time did you
clear
go
run.
through?
25 past 6.
You'd hope it's clear at 20 past 6,
Not-
but it's not
normally
always
it's not.
the case, is it?
Nope.
Horrible.
You would think it's just getting earlier and earlier. Had a few things. Obviously, it's school holidays as well, and my wife's a teacher, so Jan is obviously on holidays as well. So it's been good that all the time that I get off, we have off as well. So caught up with a bunch of different friends. Had either people come to us, caught up with a really old uni friend and their girls. They came over here. We went and saw some old friends at their house, probably 10, 15 minutes away. A couple of park things you do with kids.
Yeah.
There is a very funny story, though, I wanted to share with anyone who listens to this podcast who follows Alder Falls knows Nathaniel is the other half of Alder Falls. So we have gone on a few little camping trips and holidays with the Hubbards in the past. And we caught up because the kids love playing with each other. Went round and had an afternoon and dinner with them at their house only last week. Very, very funny story. I showed you the video of what happened afterwards. I'll try and tell this because we're already about 15 minutes into the pod and we've got a lot to get through, but it's too funny not to share. So the kids were playing hide and seek. We're sitting down having dinner and all of a sudden Asher comes in and says, "Dad, the toilet door's broken." And we're like, "What?" So Nathaniel and I get up and go off and see what's happening. Anyway, they're playing hide and seek, and there was a few of them, including Arabella, that were hiding in the toilet. And I think just when they found them, kids just being kids trying to push the door open and it's come off its hinge and actually wedged itself so you couldn't get the door open. And so being, she's 2.5, absolutely terrified. Just
Is she in there by herself?
No,
did you
she's in
say?
there with Nathaniel's 2 kids.
Oh,
and
the 3 of them are in the
they're
toilet.
all hidden in the same place.
And it was just
And-
Asher and Abby on the outside trying to get in.
Yeah, and
Okay.
so she's petrified. I've never seen her so scared. So anyway, Nathaniel and I ended up being like, step back. We've got to actually, who knows what's going to happen. We got the door open.
Yeah.
Anyway, calmed her down. Anyway, it was so funny that afterwards, even when we got home that night, and then particularly the next morning, she kept referring to it as the door being cracked. And I'll see how I can do whether I can do an audio pull or something like that into the pod.
Yeah.
But it was so funny because she would say the door's cracked, but the more she said it, the more it sounded like the door's fucked, like door fucked, door fucked.
Door fuck. Door fuck.
And
We've got to splice it in.
And you
We
have to splice it in because it's just you've got to work so hard at not laughing at those moments. There might be 90% of people listening that don't find this funny, but it's just, if you've got kids or you know of little kids that do this, it's just so innocent. They don't know what they're doing, and it's just so funny.
Yeah,
just one of the funniest things
pretty cute little clip.
I've ever. Thankfully, Jen was able to. She was the one that filmed it the next morning because she's trying to just not piss herself laughing. But, anyway, so caught up with a bunch of friends, played a bit of golf, and
Surprising, some golf chat.
not too much.
Not too much.
Only twice.
Okay.
Over the course of 2.5 weeks. That's not too bad.
No.
Had a round today. Terrible.
Are you back in the buggy?
I've done a bit of both.
Bit of both. Okay.
Yeah, a bit of both. I have been walking, enjoyed that. I walked a full 18 holes.
Yep.
With a push cart. That got the steps up. That was 17,500 steps.
Yeah.
I was absolutely by hole 17 and 18. I was Like you're just not focusing properly.
So really affected your game, did it? Your game's normally stellar,
Yeah.
and
I mean, normally I'm kind of like scratch, but just
it's really
affected.
affected.
Yeah.
Yeah, lack of
So
fitness.
played a little bit of golf, been really enjoying that, and also just again, you know me, you've seen me when it comes to sport, I'm terrible. I proved time and time again that I'm a musician. I really love watching it though. I got right into the cricket.
You got some good cricket. You were hoping for.
Yeah, we did. We got one. In my ideal, what is a great form of cricket? It's a test match, and it's one that goes for 5 days.
5 days, yep.
And it doesn't. And of course, we would win it. But in that final session, even the final hour, we win it.
Yeah,
it was quite intense. I realised at that point, and also this last one, that we had to kind of win to win the series.
Yep.
So anyone who doesn't follow the Australian cricket, we host a number of nations every year. This particular series was the best of 5 tests against India. And there's a trophy they play for, which were a great Indian and a great Australian player. They play for that trophy. And we haven't won it and held it for 10 years. So we finally won it back at home. We won 3-1, but it was really intense. I found that it must have, I would love to have had like a blood pressure machine, because there was so many times I had to be like, dude, just breathe. Like you, like just getting all like, this is getting intense.
Yeah.
Like just crazy that sport that did it could do that to me. Like absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
Like getting the sweats and just like, this is insane. Like walking around.
For a game that takes five days to finish.
And it's just nuts. Like that Melbourne one that went for the 5 days, I actually thought ahead and thought, how can I do this where I'm going to be like, because I had to bowl them out. And they did. But that final hour, I went down to the gym and I just ran on the treadmill, because I was like, at least that's keeping my heart rate up and just burning it off. Yeah. And it helped a lot. But so I got quite a bit into cricket. Yeah. Anyway, so that's what's been happening. Holidays, some family time, catching up with friends, playing golf terribly, watching some cricket, getting my blood pressure up, and getting angry that I can't.
Can I ask a cricket question? Because I thought of you, and it's sort of to lead us into what's happening musically. I thought of you guys and all of your social media marketing and stuff that you've been doing to find followers and things. Yeah. And I thought I saw the great stat of forgive me if I'm getting this wrong. Is his name Costas, the young what's our young opener's name?
Oh, Sam Constant. Constus?
Constus, so not Costas, Constus, yeah.
Yes.
So I saw a great stat on him on the 24th of December. So before he played any Test cricket for Australia, he had, I think it was like 2,500 followers on Instagram. And then by the 27th, so in 3 days, he had 165,000 followers, and he hadn't made one post together. Hadn't posted one thing on the gram.
But he had upset and rattled about a billion Indians.
Yes, that's right. So I thought there might be something in that for you when you're thinking about your marketing.
Get into cricket.
That's a fairly good. A fairly good upswing in followers.
I'd say he's done something that he's got a bit of a break. I'd say that's just it's bang. There he is.
So we just need that one thing that you can do just to get those metrics up through the roof. I thought of you guys straight away and thought, gosh, they're hustling a lot harder than he had to hustle.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have to pace. I didn't have to face the number one fast bowler in the world like he had to. Can you imagine if I did? Can you imagine just me standing there and
I would
I
would just break my own leg as he came in, because that's what's going to happen anyway.
I wouldn't even know what. I'd just be like pat it up. Like I'd be trying to swing or just try. It would just be.
It'd be pretty great.
Well done.
So musically, I thought of Alta Falls a lot when I saw that stat pop through. So what's happening music-wise? What's going on?
Well, we have booked in a show in Brisbane. Now, we haven't announced anything really. It's just been going through and private messaging a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Normally what would happen is not till June, so it's still another 5 months away.
Yep.
5 and a bit months. Normally we would get to within the final probably 2 weeks. And if we're close to 100 tickets, it's kind of, okay, well, that's good. We're in a really good, strong position. Hopefully we can get another 40 or 50 across the line. Yesterday, the 90th sale came in.
Yeah,
so we've sold 90 already.
And it hasn't actually been released yet.
No, nothing.
To the
it's just
public
been
for sales.
Yeah, it's been unbelievable. And the majority of those people, yes, there's been a percentage of them that are either have seen us before or we've got our mailing. We haven't even done a mailing out. It's just been direct, like just basically through Instagram, touching base with people we know that are in Brisbane. But the majority of them have been people since we booked that show in that have just found us and followed us. And they're just like, we're in Brisbane, would love to know when you're playing next. We're like, well, funny you found us.
Yeah.
Because we've got this coming up and we've got some pre-sales happening, and they're like, they're buying tickets.
So what's this venue? Remind us again. What are we shooting for? What's
well,
the capacity?
It's the old zoo, which is now Crowbar Briz.
Yep, we knew that.
And it's a capacity of 500.
Okay.
So in the music, I mean, I would love to. So we're what?
That's what we're shooting for. If we're shooting for the moon, that's what we're going for.
We're 18% of the way there.
Yep.
Now, in the music industry, basically an artist can say that they've sold out a place when you hit 80%.
Okay.
So what's that, 400?
400, yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, the sky's the limit.
Yep.
But I'm like, it's every 5 is an extra percent there. I'm like, there we go.
Yep.
So, yeah, 90 there. And I've just been absolutely stoked with that. It's just been
amazing.
Little ticket sales coming everywhere.
Yep.
And then Perth has been going really well. We had a really slow start with that. We had a good start, and then it's just sort of over Christmas, New Year's, kind of in the lead up, kind of slowed right down. And I think we were sitting at about 39 or 40 tickets. So that's just hit 60, which is good. So I'm really hoping that over the next, we've got a month until we head there. I would love to hit 100 by the time we get there for the first time. That's kind of the aim. That's kind of that little goal number we got from people in the industry that we've been working with is first time to Perth. If you can get 100 people there, you are doing... You've never been there before and they don't know who you are.
It's like an international gig when you head over to Perth.
Oh,
yeah. Long way away.
It's the hardest place. Actually, it's not the second hardest place. Tasmania is apparently the hardest.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then Adelaide. So we've done Adelaide. That was good. We got the 150 there, but yeah, 100 in Perth. So I'm like, so any Perth listeners,
let's go.
Grab your ticks. So yeah, that's music. And also just yesterday Monday, good chat, sent off our next single to be mastered.
Amazing.
So that, I don't have an exact date yet, but it's going to be February.
Have I heard any of that yet?
Yes, you have. That's the one that's your favourite, I think.
Oh, that's right. That's not actually come out yet. Gosh, I've listened to it so many times. I forgot that it wasn't. Yeah.
So that's yet to be released.
Yeah.
Yep. So really excited about that. Another little kind of acoustic one that we'll do as a kind of a soft release, I think, a few months after. Mm-hmm. But really the big thing now is trying to find a producer and what we're going to do to actually get the next bunch of tracks ready, because the two wonderful people we've been working with, one lives in LA and one lives in London, and they've just moved there in the last year. So it's going to be interesting as to how you can manage that. We got a few options. Options. So yes, that's music wise.
Very exciting. Well, musically, I've started the year strong. First gig of the year for me was on the 1st of January.
Major jealousy seeing this post.
Yeah, just happened to coincide with me being on holidays on the Gold Coast and at the wonderful Miami Marquetta, which is where Matt and I saw Thelma Plum play last year. I saw the Whitlams in a beautiful show on New Year's Day. And I've been a Whitlams fan for a really long time, but the last time I would have seen them play was, I think it was about 17 years ago, and I meant to look up the date, but I could tell you the exact date if I did a Google search, because it was the night that Kevin Rudd was elected Prime Minister, and it was
2007.
the first. Yeah, it was. I was thinking it was about 17 years ago. Is that what I said? Yeah. We might have Googled it when we were there, and that's the first Labor Prime Minister we'd had
since Paul Keating
in a long while, and so obviously the Whitlams are staunch Labor history.
Did he do golf?
So yeah, and
did,
so they
course.
had so when I saw them that first time 17 years ago, they actually, Tim Friedman had a TV next to him with the election results coming in, and we were getting updates during the gig, and Rudd was announced during that gig. So it was such a sensational show. So that was the last time I'd seen them. Yep. And have always just followed their music, but didn't really understand. There's a really sad history to the Whitlams. Tim Friedman is the only surviving member of the original lineup. And so I know that a couple of the guys in the current lineup have been with him for a good number of years now. But yeah, I didn't realise that sort of sad history. So he's really been through a lot of things and still just absolute perfection. What a great performer.
2 questions then.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I got 3.
Yeah.
First one was Ollie, one of his guitarists. I can't remember his last name, but he played. I saw the Whitlams. Well, not the Whitlams. I saw Tim Friedman do an acoustic show. First time I've seen them
Mm-hmm.
last year. And the guitarist he had, Ollie somebody.
Lead guitar,
Yeah, like a lead guitarist.
long hair, fringe.
Maybe. We'll have
I
this
thought
chat
his
off
name
air.
was Jack. I don't
Okay.
know.
Anyway, good chat.
Yeah.
All right, that's answered that. Second one, did he neck a whole bottle of red wine at the piano? Was he drinking straight out of the bottle? Because that's a signature Tim Friedman move.
Didn't see that happening, but he was, and we were quite close, but piano was between me and him. I don't think so. I'm going to say no. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm going to say no.
Okay.
Yeah.
And, well, I already know the answer, but I'm going to ask it anyway.
Yeah.
Did you meet him?
Yes, I did. So he did, none of the rest of the band did, but he did like a meet and greet at the merch desk afterwards. So we got to say
there are
good day.
musicians that do that.
And he signed my I bought a Whitlam's tote, just to add to the 9,000 other gig totes I have.
How much did he charge for the tote?
Reasonable. I'm going to say $30.
Okay, so,
Yeah,
a
yeah.
bit more than us. That's good. As long as
Yeah.
it wasn't, as long as
Yeah.
we're not flying.
It's not like $10 and
Okay,
you're
cool.
you're
We're
charging
trying to
20.
sell him 22.
Yeah, so
Okay.
he was. I mean, it was a very quick, and I was with my cousin Tracy, who sort of just instantly was like, sort of fangirling. She is a Skippy, so she'll be pleased that I've shared that story.
Yep.
And she mostly talked to him, and I think I just stood there grinning like an idiot, saying,
Like,
"Can I
Nana.
have a photo? Can you sign my tote?" And yeah, so no, it was brilliant. Again, the venue just is phenomenal, and it wasn't just stupidly crowded. Like, there was plenty of people there, but it was just a really relaxed vibe.
What was your sweatometer at?
Not as bad as Thelma.
Thelma,
I didn't
okay.
have to use merch to wipe sweat off my brow mid-gig. I thought it was going to be roasty, but no, it was pretty good. Yeah, band was super tidy. Few issues with the mix. There's all four of the members sang, and I rarely got the vocal mix I would have liked. You know, I like to hear those backing vocals nice and high in the mix, and
me both.
I didn't get exactly what I wanted there really much throughout the gig, but still the muso's super tidy. The bass player was the guy who plays with Wolfmother. I can't remember his name either. So he was playing bass.
Blank
and
from me.
Just super, and all of them sang, and just super high energy. It was
it's
super
good.
cool.
Great.
Yeah, very good. And then the only other music thing that I have to report back on is 2 nights ago, I watched, there's a new Avicii doco that's come out on Netflix, and it's just come out over Christmas. Another really sad story in the music industry. And yeah, it was a super interesting documentary for anyone who, I'm not into house music or dance music, but he obviously had this amazing ability to break through into a very mainstream success while remaining quite true to that genre that you don't normally see in mainstream music. And the most interesting thing I found was that he is not a super talented musician. So his whole skill and gift was just in being able to craft amazing melodies. And you see him sort of playing piano, and he's sort of playing piano the way I would play piano, with 3 or 4 fingers, and playing bits and pieces of guitar.
Yep.
But his whole just genius, because all of the best singers and songwriters in the world worked with him, because he just had this genius to craft a song and to add melody, and it's just super interesting. You see some of the process and you're like, oh, that guy's like, it sort of seems like something I could do, but then you know it's obviously not.
I need to watch that. So is it called Avicii, the documentary?
I can't remember what it's called, but if you put Avicii into Netflix, it'll come up. Yeah.
Remember that was my big gap in knowledge? Remember I didn't know that he died?
Passed away, yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
And quite a while ago.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, I will add that, because there's another documentary I was going to say that I was going to put myself down to watch.
Yep.
That's only, it's been out for maybe a month or so. But on Disney, there's the documentary now of Elton John.
Oh, yes.
Of
Okay.
kind of whether it's just of his final tour or whatnot. But I thought that'd be quite interesting to watch as well.
Yeah.
So, okay, there's 2.
Yeah.
Avicii and Elton.
Yeah, hit it
I'll
up.
get onto.
It's an easy watch, and it's just an amazing watch to see the journey. But also, you see all the pitfalls of fame, and the whole money and fame doesn't fix our human condition.
And the other person I was going to mention, the other artist that kind of completely different genre, but amazing to watch how they can create music. And this particular artist, I would say, is definitely more a musician, like definitely got, I guess, a higher skill in being able to play, particularly piano. But have you seen any of the videos of Charlie Puth when he creates music and how he
no,
can do that out of...
Yeah, I think I've seen a couple of things on talk shows, but not the
He did this one where he's like, let's record nothing. Let's create a song out of nothing.
Yes, I did
and
see
he's
that
like,
clip.
And then all of us, he just goes to this high frequency and he's like, let's just bring that frequency out, and that's a note, and we'll create a little sound on that, and then he's like, then we'll use the same one and just reduce this, and it's just, then he goes his beat, and then it's just, I'm like, you are a freak. Like, you've literally done, like, you've created a song out of nothing.
Yeah.
You've recorded nothing.
Yeah, it's that production stuff, and that's the Avicii stuff as well. It's just the really interesting things he did with production that other people weren't doing, and just his ear for things, and just super interesting.
Is it Charlie Puth or Puth? It's Puth. Puth.
Yeah, I think I pronounce it Puth in my head.
Okay, that'll be an
Not- it's
apology.
not- it's
An
not
apology
Puff.
next week.
Puff. I
Charlie
pronounce
Puff.
it Charlie Puth. Someone I know, I can't remember what band it is, but they sing a song and they mention his name, and I'm sure they say
Puth.
Charlie Puth. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, good music chat.
Super embarrassing now if it's not, though. You're about to tell me something that's annoyed you this week.
Two things. So, we
Two
had that
things
little
have
segment
annoyed-
the things that annoy you that shouldn't. Okay, there's two, and they're both in this house, and they're both things that happen, and I want to know whether it happens in your house. Well,
Yep.
one of them would. One of them I don't think would relate to you.
Yeah.
Um,
So things that annoy you, and you're wanting to check in with me. Should this annoy?
Yeah.
Should this annoy me?
One thing that grinds my gears just every time when you have to unload the top drawer of a dishwasher. Like, it's where all the shit is. Like,
Yeah.
there's just tops of things and cups and like, no, and just things like fall, and sometimes they flip up and there's water in them. It's just, the bottom's just so easy. It's just, you pick up all the plates away, you get the cutlery and it's all away. You get your, like, the big things. The top drawer of a dishwasher, packing that away gives me the shits.
Yeah, that is the 12th ring of hell. I would agree.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you don't have a dishwasher.
I don't have a dishwasher. I am my dishwasher. So yeah,
You just have boiling water
the
and just...
particularly annoying one for me, for friends that I know that have kids, is just all the shitty Tupperware that you have to use when you've got kids. And
That's my second one,
and
is the Tupperware drawer. It doesn't Tupperware drawer. It doesn't matter how many times you clean that thing within 3 days.
Yeah.
And ours is, it got to me tonight. It happened before you arrived, and then just after you arrived, I had a lid missing, and I put it back in there. Is when you pull it out and you push it back in, and you hear one of the things fall over the back.
Over the back.
And again, my skinny fingers trying to get down and get it on the bottom shelf, and try and get your hand in there to, like, it's just, it annoys the pants off me.
Yeah.
So the Tupperware drawer, or the plastic container drawer,
Yeah.
and the top drawer of your dishwasher.
Yeah.
Things that annoy you that probably shouldn't. They both give me
Yeah.
the shits.
Well, my Tupperware drawer particularly shouldn't annoy me because I'm the only one using it. So I have no one to blame except myself. But it does, because half the time I just throw stuff in there and it gets into a bit of a state. There's nothing better than when you just get it all perfect only to ruin it again. And there always ends up being, to me, the grossest thing about a Tupperware drawer is there ends up being like shit in there that's not Tupperware, like food like crumbs. And I'm like, how did you get in there? Because I didn't
open
put
and
you
got
in
your
there.
toaster out of the toast,
Yes,
the toast out of the toaster.
That's right. I didn't put you in there. Why are you in there?
So yeah, that's a little
Yeah,
segment. That was quick.
I reckon that stands true.
Okay.
Both of those would give me a bit too. Let's go here.
From the pouch.
I wanted to bring a From the Pouch New Year's themed, and you did mention the trip that we did over New Year's. Jen and yourself and I were in New York together, and we had all decided that it was a sort of a once-in-a-lifetime experience. We wanted to have the whole New Year's experience in Times Square. Plenty of stories I could tell from that night, but my main memory that I would like to draw
Interesting,
from
because
the
I've got about
pouch.
4 or 5 that I could think of.
Yeah, you can add some of yours
Okay.
if you need to. The particular one I want to draw from the pouch, and again, I don't know if I've, elaborated on this in my own mind in the years since it's happened, because we're a solid 15 years ago now, so the old girl doesn't always remember correctly. But
Really?
you mentioned we'd caught up in London. I feel like as part of the things that we'd done together, there'd just been this weird theme of the song All Night Long by Lionel Richie. So we'd had sort of for some reason, that had been like a bit of a theme song on our travels as we'd seen each other. And so we go to Times Square, and for anyone who hasn't done it, I don't know if I would recommend doing it or not.
No,
I
can't do it again.
It was minus quazillion degrees. None of us had proper clothes. We're all sort of Australians, fake wintering.
No money, so we
And
couldn't afford to go into the...
we couldn't afford to go into one of the bars. In hindsight, it would have been like $150, and that included your drinks, but we just were so skint. We couldn't afford a thing. So you were ushered into... They partition off all the way up Times Square, and you're ushered into your own cage. And once you're in there, that's it. You're in there for the whole night. So if you leave that section of the cage, there's no pass out to get you back in.
No, because it's just like a little pen.
It's it's just a pen that's surrounded by like roadworks fencing. And so we went in like mid-afternoon
4 p.m.
from memory. Yeah. So 4 p.m. So we're like, you got to turn the bladder off, and you're literally just standing there. There's disgusting men weeing into bottles everywhere.
Pushing you.
And, pushing into, this gross guy pushing into me.
Just so he could get that hat to put on his girlfriend.
Yeah.
And he treated you like a piece of hot garbage and then pushed you and got up you and then turned around and was like, oh, sweetie, here's that. I'm just like, cool, you've got a great catch there, lovely.
It was horrible.
Yeah, well done. Wonder if they're still together.
And so we're just in this pen, just hating everything about life, but trying to stay really optimistic and be like, yes, we're here. This is New York and it's amazing. And then at about, I don't know if it was like 8 p.m. or something, we just heard like the starting notes for...
It's a little bit earlier because
it was earlier?
8 p.m. was when we...
Is that when we bailed out?
Bailed
was that early?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, because Jem was gone even before that.
Yeah, so she went just before. We didn't
stay too long after Jen. Okay.
No.
So we'd been in there for several hours though, and we really were like, man, I don't know if we're going to make this. We need some energy. Yeah, like we need some serious energy. And we were a fair way away from the stage. Couldn't see anything. And we just hear the starting rhythm. And next thing we know, out comes Lionel Richie and starts singing all night long and doing a sound check. He was going to perform again later in the night.
It was very early on.
Yeah.
Because remember we saw both. So the memory I've got is we heard both the sound check and the real thing.
Okay. So the real thing was maybe an hour or so later. So it was quite early on. Yeah.
So it's not long after we got there. Then we're like, oh, that's great.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until later when we heard it that gave us the boost, being like, oh, we had the sound check and now we've heard the real thing.
Performance.
That's a great from the pouch.
Yeah. So standing in Times Square, we'd had this song in our sort of minds for weeks and weeks leading up, and next minute, without even knowing, out comes Lionel Richie.
Great from the pouch.
And so we ended up bailing and thought, we just can't do this. This isn't worth it. So we went into our backpackers we were staying in, which was just off Times Square. So really just
and a lot closer to the ball.
Yeah, a lot closer to the stage. And then went and played some Monopoly, hung out, had some drinks in our backpackers. And then just before midnight, we thought, let's just creep down and see how close we can
barrier,
get.
like as soon as we got out of the hostel, that big barrier. This is in the side, like the side street.
The side street heading into Times Square, yeah.
Big fire engine there, big barrier. So you couldn't, like literally what you said before, you could not get back in.
No, you couldn't get back in.
Out.
But we thought, we're sort of close enough to people. We'll just see what happens. And
we're about
we just sort of
out.
stayed there. And then at, I don't know, was it like
11:55?
Yeah, like a few minutes to go. Something happened.
The
big
fire truck
surge.
had to go to the other side, remember? And the people in front of us said, we're going to push.
Let's
and I was
go.
like, oh dear. And so when the barrier opened, that all just pushed.
Yeah. And people,
like,
and it turned out there was actually heaps of room. We weren't
remember.
in a pen.
No. We were just in the open area.
Yeah. We just managed to go like right into Times Square as midnight hit. All of the ticket, like all of the
confetti. We saw the
confetti
ball
coming
drop.
down. We saw the
ball drop was like, we could see that from where we were, but it was like hundreds of meters away. Yeah. We were right there.
We were right there.
Just in the heart of...
Yeah, just somehow this gap opened in the barricade and we were able to just stream in right to the front.
We would have been with the people that probably would have had to have got there at like at 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh, it would have been
even
ridiculous.
Hours before that, like even in the morning.
Yeah.
Because there was just millions of people.
Yeah. And so it was this horrific start to New Year's Eve, and then we thought, we're just going to give up on that And then we went and just had this really great night together. And then literally 5 minutes before midnight, we were just laughing and screaming.
On a high.
It
You're
was
just so good.
Still one of the funniest things of my life, how excited we got.
We got some photos.
Yeah, we do have some photos. I think I had like socks on my hands. Like none of us had gloves. We just didn't have anything we needed. And yeah, in terms of our friendship, you, me and Jen, just probably one of the standout memories of a moment that we had together.
So good.
And still, I remember for years after that, I had that confetti in my handbag from New York. It just was stuck in the front of the handbag I had that night.
We still got the glasses somewhere. The
2009 glasses. So that's what I'd like to pull from the pouch.
Well done.
That memory.
Well, because we're going to... From the pouch. How dare I speak over that? Now, we'll have to try and figure out a way to... You got to watch YouTube because this is... I'm going to do a science experiment, but I need to prepare it, I've just realised, and it takes a bit of time. So I thought, while that happens, did you want to do like a minute... Because it's not like a little other from the pouch, but the amazing buffet that was next door... to the hostel. Remember that?
I do.
With the bagels?
Yeah. I'm just trying to think. So it was this hostel called the Big Apple Hostel. It doesn't exist anymore, but every time I went to New York, I would stay there because it was cheap and nasty, but it was right in the heart of the place. And it had one of those sort of quintessential New York delis next to it where you could buy sort of salads and things by the weight and any variety of bagels that you can even imagine. And so, yeah, I think we just got addicted to it. And I don't remember what I used to get because I wasn't hugely into bagels. I remember getting the salads, but they weren't really salads. They were kind of like American salads that were mainly fatty things and sugary things.
That was the turkey burger. Remember the turkey burger?
Yeah.
The turkey, like when I was wanting to be healthy.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? And I was like, I'm just going to get a Philly cream cheese. Yeah.
And the cream cheese was like thicker than the bagel itself.
I was thinking that was going to be. All of a sudden, I've been distracted. I know how to tie a tie. I've just completely forgotten how to do it. Is it that way?
Matt's going to do a science experiment, and I have no idea what he's doing. Do you need me to do it for you?
That comes over. That's the way it goes.
There we go. Okay.
All right. So.
Skip the beat's taken a real turn here.
It has. All right. It doesn't have to be done. As long as I've got a short side and a long side. Right.
Okay.
So we're going to do this.
Podcasting is generally considered an
audio
medium,
but you can watch.
But
hopefully this is. So basically, I'll explain what's happened. Is I've put a tie on, and you know when you put a tie on, a necktie on, you've generally got like your big, thick, longer part, and then what you would do is you would then put the other part into like behind the skinny part.
Yep.
And you want that to touch your belly button, right?
Yeah.
So if I was to ask you, I'm going to let these go at exactly the same time.
Yeah.
The short or the long side, which one's going to get to the bottom first?
What do you mean? Which is going to roll quickest?
Yeah, which one's going to unroll the quickest? I'm going to go at exactly the same time.
I feel like the heavier ones are maybe the big one.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
It's a tie.
Oh, dear. Yeah. I mean, is that shit pun of the week?
No, it's not. It's just a little extra.
There's more to come, is there? Okay. I can't believe I was being so earnest.
Which one is this?
That one. I can't believe I was being so earnest about your science experiment. I thought it was going to be good. Matt was so excited when I got here tonight that he had a science experiment to do.
You were also excited about the fact that was a science
That was great. We're really branching out. Turns out it's just another shit pun disguised as a science experiment.
Well. Oh, okay. So that was the pun, but I do have to share the other one because it's not a music pun anymore. That is the big change for me in 2025. It's gone to the days of music pun of the week. It's just a fucking pun of the week.
Yeah. You will take requests still and things from people.
Yeah, of course.
Like take
So this
suggestions.
was the one I was going to do, and we'll do it as a little, because this is the one that you've prepared. It's on the board, like you're prepared to hear a shit pun.
Yeah.
That other one was just a nice little.
I'm prepared to be hurt twice now.
I've got to be able to get you by surprise when I get you by surprises. Like, what was the first one? What was the Willie Nelson one?
Yeah.
That's right. Okay, so did you know, this is also a little science fact, that,
But it's not.
but it is, and this is anyone, anywhere in the world, okay? If you're ever freezing, if your house is ever cold, go and stand in the corner because it's always 90 degrees there.
I mean, that's a shit pun of the week. Meets the brief.
A for effort. Look, not happy with that. I was very happy with the lead up to the tie.
Yeah, look, I'm going to pay It's a Tie as, it would have been better if you'd remembered how to tie a tie and I wasn't forced to tell a shit story about bagels for 5 minutes, but that's okay.
I was just all I did actually forget how to tie a tie. That I got it in the end, but I didn't. It was half a tie, but just enough. But just, you've got to be able to. I felt like if I try and not say tie, you might get like it just had to be all, yeah.
Oh,
Anyway.
you've really thought that through, and I'll give you respect for that.
You're not going to believe me anytime I have a prop now in the future.
No, well, science experiments are out. I'll tell you that for free.
Come in next week. There's vinegar and
Yeah,
bicarb
there's
soda in a
beak-
balloon.
There's a beaker.
I've got
I'm on to you.
gas light in. It's like Bunsen
I'm on
burner.
to you. Bunsen burner.
Like a pig eye there.
Oh, I haven't said Bunsen burner since 1997. That's amazing.
That's it.
That is.
First pod of 2025 done.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for those who have been listening since episode 1. Really, really do appreciate that you keep listening to our silly banter and us waffling on every couple of weeks. Really do appreciate it. If you're new here for the first time, because someone shared it out, see that? Be great if you could share it out.
See that?
Then we'd love you to follow us. We've got TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and you can also watch the pod on YouTube. It would be great if you could subscribe there as well. And you can listen to this pod wherever you listen to a podcast. I don't know why we say that, because they're obviously listening to something.
Yeah.
Like, they're obviously listening to it.
You found how to listen to a podcast.
You found out how to do it. But we'd
Yeah.
love your rating. So whether it's
Yeah.
on Spotify or Amazon or Apple Podcasts, we'd love you to drop a review and a rating there as well. Anything from you?
For sure. No, just good to be back. And I'm working on a few things, some special guests that we might be able to bring into the pod this year. So let's see how we go. No promises. We might not be back for another 7 weeks, but we're hopeful that that's not the case.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Brilliant. Ciao.
Bye.